What's going on, Jeromes? So you're seeing at this stage of the draft season that, hey, reportedly the Vikings are meeting with this prospect. This prospect is coming for a top 30 visit. The Vikings spoke with this guy at the combine or his pro day, etc. So I'm going to run through the list of reported players that the Vikings have met with, and some of these are sort of passing interest. Some of these guys they're at the combine. Some of these guys are top 30 visits, etc. So this is from Walter Football. They do a great job of tracking all these visits, and so their shorthand, COM, means combine, PRI means private, so ostensibly a top 30 visit. So it's starting to get interesting. And it's really cool to see like the patterns of the Vikings are meeting with. A lot of wide receivers, surprisingly a lot of running backs as well. But we'll dive on in and run through a list. So Anthony Bradford, tackle from LSU, Skull SU still in effect. Julius Brents, the lengthy cornerback. Some see him more as a safety in the NFL, but his versatility would be something that certainly would sync up with what Flores wants to do. Some people see him as a first-round talent. I think that he's probably a second-round guy, maybe a top 50, etc. Carl Brooks. I love Carl Brooks, man. Like I feel like Carl Brooks is everyone's sleeper. Where combine snub, extremely productive in the MAC, and a guy who played edge at Bowling Green is going to be kicking inside in the NFL, and is just a dude who may be just a sub-package guy, but a guy who can just get after the quarterback, and that's exactly what you need. Gervin Dexter, the great defensive tackle from Florida. You can buy me the flowers, coming from Boston College. So going through the receivers, Zay Flowers, BFW, Bryce Ford Wheaton, absolute physical freak, a condor. Kirk needs tall receiver. Probably going to go in the day 3 area. Then you got Quentin Johnston, who's going to be up there at the top. Then you got Trey Palmer, the speedster from Nebraska. And that's an interesting handful of receivers that the Vikings are looking at. Isaiah Foskey, the versatile edge rusher from Notre Dame. I mean, some may say that he's like a diet version of Danielle Hunter. But I do like him a lot. I mean, I feel like he's being slept on. I feel like he had uber production. I feel like he's a really good athlete and played at a legacy school at Notre Dame. People are just kind of like, whatever. Jordan Howden, local guy coming in from the U. Probably going to be a late day 3 guy, maybe. Nash Jensen, another small school guy from NDSU, go Bison. Looking at him along the offensive line. And, of course, yes, Will Levis. All right, so Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. And, the Vikings haven't really been shy about taking a look at them. Also, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, meeting up with him at the Combine. I could see him being an early day 3 guy. So beyond the first wave of quarterbacks, and then you're going to have Hendon Hooker and probably Tanner McKee. I think DTR is in like the Tanner McKee tune sort of area. Hafner, sure. Then see what else here. Oh, Marte Mapu, Sacramento State. I feel like he's a lot of people's super sleeper as well. Did really good at the Senior Bowl, etc. Joey Porter Jr. That would be the dream, man. That'd be the dream. I doubt he gets to 23, but you never know. Eli Ricks, former LSU cornerback, went to Bama. I feel like he never really got the time of day. I think that he's going to have a much better career in the NFL. Keely Ringo, maybe the best zone corner in this draft coming out of Georgia, but consistency issues are a question. JMS, John Michael Schmidt's best center in the draft. Hands down. Would be great to keep him in state. I think also he could play a little bit of guard. Cam Smith, the sticky outside corner from South Carolina. Absolutely love it. Terrell Smith, he did himself some big-time favors at the Combine, so he could be potentially moving up to the day 3 ranks. Tajay Spears. Baby Alvin Kamara, and that's not just because he plays in New Orleans, but I mean, Tajay Spears is a lot of fun, and he's the guy who maybe made himself the most money at the Senior Bowl. Starling Thomas, physical freak cornerback, small school UAB Blazers. Do it for Joe Webb, man. All right, so he's seen as a small school sleeper guy. DTR we talked about, and then also interesting, Darnell Washington. All right, so Darnell Washington is a badass blocking tight end, and is going to be in amongst some of the top tight ends, maybe even a first round pick. But I don't know. Met at the Combine. I do think that's sort of whatever at this point. I mean, signing of Josh Oliver sort of makes that moot. But looking at last year's visits. So this is from NFL Trade Rumors. Again, another great site that is really good at tracking all of these visits. So the one at the top is interesting. So this was executives being at the Pitt UNC game where Rick Spielman was still on the job. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Kenny Pickett versus Slinging Sam Howell. It was a pretty good game. Let's see here. Wait, was that the game where Kenny Pickett did the fake run out of bounds and then kept running? Was that the one? Doesn't matter. Let's see. Mike Harley, Desmond Ridder. I love Desmond Ridder, man, but just didn't work out. He's with the Falcons now. But Myjai Sanders, since he's had some dudes, man, love it. Jumping George Kalafdis, Greek freak coming out of Purdue. Alex Wright, Percy Butler, Tay Martin, Marcus Jones. Would have been nice to have Marcus Jones. No big deal. Cole Strange was a small school guy I liked a lot. Patriots, a bit of a surprise. Made him a first-round pick, but he's getting it done. Usezi Otamuwo, of course. There's a lot of latitude in terms of teams meeting with local guys, but also that turned into a fifth-round pick by the Vikings. Darian Butler, stud. David Anai, the Houston defensive end. Kirby Joseph. Again, that would have been okay. That would have been kind of okay. Then Kalon Barnes. So, again, this is interesting. So, Kalon Barnes, speedster at the combine, ended up being a seventh-round pick by the Panthers. Vikings picked him up later, so obviously they like what they saw and they like what they heard when they met with him as a top 30 visit. Cameron Good, Jack Jones. Oh, again, yeah, it would have been nice to have Jack Jones. Who? Jack Jones. Rasheed Walker, Danny Gray. I really like Danny Gray, man. Devontae Wyatt, stupid Packer. He's dead to me. Corey Sutton. Zach McLeod, who eventually turned into UDFA, and for a while was looking really good in camp, but the Vikings decided to go a different direction. They held on to Luigi Villain in terms of UDFA edge rushers. Boya Mafe, man, stud, coming in from the Gophers. Logan Hall, versatile defensive lineman. Trevon Walker, Jake Hummel. I think we're okay not taking Trevon Walker. Yeah. And then Dawson Deaton and Romeo Dubs. I love Dubs in the draft process, man. Coming out of Nevada, Nevada Reno, like him and Nate Burleson, we're getting it done again. But then the Packers scooped him up. I think he's going to be really good for them long term. But yeah, it's funny seeing how a number of these visits turn into very solid players, as well as guys like Otamuwo, guys like Kalon Barnes, guys like Zach McLeod eventually ended up in the sphere for the Vikings. So, I mean, what's the hit rate on these visits? Probably pretty low, but it is good due diligence. And some of these visits, not going to lie, are just asking about, hey, what's your teammate like? Because maybe we're more interested in them. It's like, oh, hey, is your friend single? That whole thing. Yeah. But that's it. That's running through the Vikings prospect trackers as of right meow, who they're meeting with, etc. Let us know your thoughts or our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.